I split 100 Geometry Dash players into 10 different teams. They have 1 week to build a level for me and the boys to score. Then they each have to verify the level and upload it onto the servers. Then the teams will try to complete each other's levels until there is only one left. What the teams ended up doing for this event was insane, but first we have to talk about day 1. Each team is comprised of a captain, a pro player, and 8 creators. Since people had the ability to pick their teams, some teams ended up very overpowered. Noise's team had 7 Geometry Dash moderators, and this is what people in their team have created in the past. Zink's team had many experienced creators and the highest ranked player in the demon list that was competing. It was day 1 and teams were already grinding.
Long memory levels are good. I've seen Zeronium beat Marathon.
We can make the game for like super gimmicky.
We are a team and we need to butcher this f***ing competition and win the civilization once and for all.
What's the plan here, Team 10?
Fucking screwed right now, but we're good.
Maybe there might be a little boss fight, you never know, you never know.
I hosted 2 mini events. Winning these mini events could give teams slightly extra time to build their level. The first event was a race to beat Smile World. This level isn't meant to be skill based, it's more like a puzzle and everyone was confused.
What do you mean? This is literally harder than Kenos, bro. I don't know what I'm gonna do right now.
The thing is, Zink's pro player Skizzle was so skilled that they flew through the unintended route.
Through the straight fly.
Wait, you didn't have to do that. Then there was the second event, a house building competition. Zink's team won this event as well, giving his team a significant advantage.
Yes!
Some of these houses were really good for being made in 30 minutes. Imagine what these people can do in a week. By day 3, it became clear that some teams had major disadvantages with less experienced players and an inactive captain.
If for some reason we won, don't give money to Lemon Cake because he just did nothing.
We're just gonna vote kick him at the end. We're funny.
Proximus's team was building so little that members of the team instead would just try to trick and scam others.
Matt, did you see the massive gaslighting event that happened yesterday in me?
Yeah.
Oh my guy, every team is gaslighting.
Every team had a layout done at this point, and everyone was focused on decoration now.
The theme is gonna be stormy, like a storm kind of. So yeah, that's pretty much the plan.
Rainbows and Reeses.
Yeah.
Some people are implementing like lava, like hellish sections and stuff.
People were extremely stressed out. Some even left the event because of the pressure.
Dude, I wish the remaining 5 creators in your team the best of luck.
It's gonna be complicated, but there's still hope.
Some team creators were inactive, only making tensions further rise. Do you remember that overpowered team I told you about in the beginning, Noise's team? All that was decided on was a Kung Fu Pando theme. I tried to interview Noise and ask what was going on, and this happened.
What the f is your team doing?
We're just fucking working on the level, bud.
Why are you speaking like that?
We're up and at 'em now, buddy. Don't even worry about it. We'll finish the contract in time. I can't even hear you. The construction's so loud, dog. I gotta hang up.
What the f?
Now, there was only 24 hours left before the judging process, and over time the gap between organized teams and unorganized teams continued to widen. Someone in Samalot's team unintentionally deleted their part, making GM work overtime to get the job done. Eventually a week passed, and while some teams were hyped to show us their levels, others were not. After 7 days and a ton of hours in the level editor, this is what 100 players were able to create.
What? What?
This is great.
What is that? Why is this so cool? Oh my goodness. How are the levels like this made in a week?
This competition truly pushed the upper limits of what was possible in Geometry Dash. Now, these empires may have taken a week to build, but everyone knows that they can fall far faster. Before we start the judging, why not subscribe? It would help a ton. Oz's team was working a ton to build a boss fight. Yup, this is it.
What the heck is that?
One of the creators, Epic Luch, took a ton of selfies of themselves. The creators then used a mod to transfer those pictures into Geometry Dash.
Dude.
Luch cannot land a single shot though. King Samalot's team showcased Mechanical Realm.
I think it's not very colorful. I think it's very dull looking in terms of its colors.
Some parts like Mr. GM's and this end screen helped the level get a pretty good score. Now people caught on pretty early that Proximus's team was trying to socially engineer everyone else. As less and less people started to fall for the tricks, this team seemed hopeless. This is the level I was sent by Proximus's team.
Are not prepared for what I'm about to. Yeah, all 8 burgers.
Is this the actual song? It looks like a level though. This is terrible. What do you mean?
I'ma keep it a buck. This level has like 2 good parts. Proximus was one of the hardest working captains, so it's unfortunate that this was the final result. Chris's team showcased Ram, a 2-minute memory extreme demon that could easily place on the demon list. This part has some really weird mechanics with the dual game mode. In the last 10%, everything is darkened, making things more difficult for whoever's playing. Tride's team made Raise the Storm, which was a really weird level. Segments like this quote-unquote monster battle that went on for way too long and this generic part just didn't fit in. The storm may be raised, but the score sure won't be.
I feel like this level doesn't know if it wants to be a more modern art or a realism art. Like, I can't decide.
Subster's team has actually collaborated before. That's why you might notice that Reese's potentially looks a lot like Smarties preferably.
This is... Oh my goodness, this is insane. What?
This feels like a sequel to Skittles Preferably.
Yeah, I think in terms of originality, that's what I'm
not
worried about.
Yeah.
Robber's team had a ton of trouble organizing and the result was a mixed bag. Seriously, some parts have pretty weird decoration and effects, but I still like them. But then you got this thing that was made in a day and this end screen. This is what happens to your computer when you don't download RobTop antivirus.
Yeah. I like that design.
Oh my, I don't think this part fits, but it's really cool.
Zinc's team made Fuego, a level that's too hot to handle at times. Generally, the level was really high quality, though you could say some parts didn't fit in too well. Some parts went insanely hard. This is Life Check's part. And this is the end screen.
Too much red.
Yeah.
What the fuck? So
can't
much
see
red.
the
I can't
thing.
see this.
Lemon Cake's team had many disadvantages. Most of the first teams got priority over who to pick, but this team pretty much got all the people who didn't pick anyone else. Now, this is a cool level, and it'd be interesting to see it finished, but it just wasn't, so it's got a pretty low score.
That transition was dope.
Yeah, this is so cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of unfinished parts. Alright. But the parts that are finished, like...
Yeah, the ones that are finished are really good.
Made.
Now, I thought Noise's team threw the competition, but suddenly I was sent one of the craziest levels I've ever seen in my 8 years of playing this game. This is the power of Kung Fu Panda. The memorizing and precision required to complete this level seemed intimidating enough. Little did I know that this level was hiding a ton of secrets that would only be unveiled later on in the competition.
Alright. Why you gotta throw in memory on that? Alright, whatever.
The next week is gonna be far more intense. Now the teams all had 2 days to verify their level, and I had to ban a ton of exploits that teams were attempting to use. However, there were some interesting gimmicks that were still allowed. Samalot's team put some alternative paths and invisible trigger orbs you need to click to get through the end screen. Substra's team had some devious secret routes needed to reach the true end of the level. Chris's team had no real gimmicks, RAM is just difficult. This wave maze may look familiar, but it's literally impossible to figure out unless you know the clues. This would make it relatively easy for Kyoto to verify, but very difficult for any other team. Chris's team, Oz's team, and Tride's team verified their level with no gimmicks. Proximus's player, Cobra Blitz, completely abandoned the team, removing the small chance that they had at victory. One Alpha Helix quit after barely being able to progress on Lemon Cake's level. B-Gram called Robber's level the worst thing he's ever had to play. During verification, his mouse broke. This left Team A, who had the best competing player. However, Skizzle was scorched by Fuego. Skizzle suddenly quit on Team A, leaving Fuego to die. But unlike the other teams, N74 had a strategy. By putting an elaborate secret way 20% in, Fuego was able to be salvaged for now. This strategy actually worked because verifications were allowed to be private for 24 hours after the start of Phase 2. Now, 3 teams were eliminated and 7 factions made it to the invasion. Going into the invasion, Chris's team had a huge advantage with the highest Phase 1 placement and the highest ranked player still competing. That player was Zeronium, a pro who would complete Tride's Raise the Storm in less than 1,000 attempts using some unintended skips. When Zeronium attempted to take down Team 3, he realized it would be impossible for him to do with his current knowledge. One of the first steps seemed to be this QR code, which added Sun Tzu in your contacts list and gave you a link to this weird Discord ARG. After hours of attempting to solve pepperoni puzzles and dynasty ciphers, no further progress would be made. Kyoto couldn't figure out how to pass the final part in Reese's potentially or mechanical realm. The route that this team made to complete RAM was quite inaccurate. Progress on every level seemed to freeze. On the 24-hour mark, verifications would be made public, making Ram's main route more clear. Most other levels were unaffected, aside from Fuego. Nurhia easily figured out the secret way, and for the first time in the event, a creator would eliminate an opposing team. The 5 teams remaining were also the highest scoring teams of Phase 1. Whichever team has the highest score between the 2 phases wins the event, meaning it could be anyone's game. For over a dozen hours straight, Kyoto would be practicing RAM and barely progressing, while Chris's team was back in the level editors trying to figure out after they realized the ARG was a complete ruse. With the use of some level editor mods, Acute would finally put together the pieces to Team 3's level. So, let me finally explain how the Art of the Blade works. There are 3 structures before this wave maze. The 3 randomly colored objects are this gate right before the ship part, this specific arrow on the scroll, and get this, a single pixel in this part. Every attempt, the colors of these structures are re-randomized. There is a set of directions you have to travel depending on what color you were assigned. You wouldn't know that unless you look deep in the editor for clues. Some triggers used to make this work were scaled down to 0.01, making them almost impossible to find without mods. Along with that, in Zoro's wave part, you would have to hit multiple triggers to make this part even possible during gameplay. So, despite the Art of the Blade being seemingly impossible to figure out, now that Noise's level was solved, all Zeronium had to do was close out the final run, which was still going to be difficult. Doomsday had been going on for around 3 days now, and suddenly, the unthinkable would happen.
I beat it.
Kyoto would fluke RAM, and soon after, Zeronium and the rest of Team 2 quit. Now, Noise and Subster's team were battling it out. Kyoto initially thought Reese's potentially was impossible. Subster's team once again had to figure out the Art of the Blade for Amza to verify. Kyoto also figured out how to beat Reese's potentially. So, for the next few hours, Kyoto and Amza relentlessly raced each other's levels. Pretty much every other player in the event had quit at this point. However, the winner would finally be decided. Kyoto slayed Reese's potentially, taking out Subster's team from the race. Slightly later, a creator in Noise's team known as Sync was able to figure out the secret of the mechanical realm and complete it.
It's over!
While Luchaverse wasn't completed, Team 5's Phase 1 score was too low for them to have any chance at winning this event. Therefore, the winners of the very first Geometry Dash Civilization event were decided. Here's another interesting challenge video I recorded, so why not check it out? See ya!
Bruh.